All right, everybody, we're going to work on kicks today. So we're going to run through the 3 basic kicks, front, round, and side. Obviously, there's still more than that. We still have hook kick, we have twist kick, we have axe kick, and we have inner and outer crescent kick, but we're going to save those for a different day. These are the big 3. These are the ones that you will see in all of the forms. And once we've got that, we've kind of got the idea for how to build in the future on our spins and our reverses and all those, and our jumps even, all those great kicks later on. So all of our kicks are going to always come from what looks like a front kick, whether it's horizontal or straight up and down or what have you. It's always going to kind of come from there. So I'm going to have Grace demonstrate. We're going to start with a front kick. So I'll move you in here. So she's going to be in a front stance. She's going to do a #1 front kick, which means she just lifts her leg and does her kick and sets right back down. No extra movement. If she does a #2 front kick, it means it's going to be off the back leg, and either she's going to set down in front or back, depending on what it calls for. So that's a #2. It's always off the back leg, regardless of what kick it is. #1 is going to be off the front. #2 is going to be off the back. #3 just means she's going to step up and kick off of her front leg. Good. And whether she sets down in front, that's 99.9% of the time what you're going to do, because you really can't set down and back. But if you were sparring, you could. So here we go. #3. Good. And sets down in front. Those are the 3 numbers we use most often. 1 is off the front leg. No extra movement. You just pick up and kick. #2 is always off the back leg. #3 just means we're going to do a step and then do it off the front leg. All right, everybody, we're going to break down the front kick. Now we know what 1, 2, and 3 are. We're just going to work on what makes a front kick a great front kick. First, it's always going to start with guard. You always have to have your guard up, because where your hands are is where your balance is. Where your eyes are is where your balance are. So if you're kind of look like you're falling down a hill and going to turn into a snowball, then that's where your balance is. So you want to definitely keep things tight and centered. When she does a great front kick, let's say we do a #2. She's going to pick up her leg and point at the target, kicking with the shoelace part of her foot before she returns it really quickly and sets down. So if there's 5 basic parts, and this one is missing a part. She doesn't have to pivot on this one. Well, we have pivot, chamber, which means I'm getting ready for the kick, re-chamber, and set down. Those are the 5 basic parts of a kick. So when she does that kick, she's going to step up. Her posture's great. She's going to snap that kick out, hit with the shoelace part of the foot, and set down in front or back, depending on what number it is. So one more time, a front kick. Good. That's it. That's a front kick. So if it's slow or you fall out of your kick, that means you didn't re-chamber fast enough or your balance is displaced. And that's how you do a front kick. If you watch Grace's feet for a #2 round kick or side kick, her front foot is going to pivot. And she is pre-pivoting so she can let her momentum carry her for the kick. Good. And she's set down in front, depends on her. Good. If we're doing a #1, which means we just pick up our front leg, she's going to pre-pivot her back leg to give her some support, and she's going to do a kick off her front leg. No extra movement. #3, that pivot's going to be the same way, but she's actually going to step up first and then kick. Good. And those are why pivots are important, not only for our hip health, for the height of our kicks, but if the kick gets jammed, you kick the pad, you're too close or whatever, it'll help you get your balance back quickly. Okay, everybody, we're going to work on a round kick. Round kick, what we're going to do is we're going to have a pivot in this one, just like we will in our side kicks and a lot of the other kicks coming up. What we're going to do is, depending on what leg we're kicking with, will depend on what foot we pivot with. If we're going to do a #2 kick off the back leg, then my front foot is going to be the one that I turn out just a little bit before I start kicking. So if you can see, I pre-pivot my foot, so when I get ready to do my round kick, I just kind of lightly go up on the ball of my feet so I can get my pivot to go the opposite direction. if I was kicking off of my rear leg, or my front leg, I would just pivot my rear leg. That's it. So it's either I turn my front foot so I can kick with my back leg, or if I'm kicking with my front leg, I turn my back leg. I pre-pivot. Super important, great for the health of your hips, great for your balance, and it'll let you kick higher later on. If you don't pivot, your kicks are really gonna suffer, and it's really hard to get in the habit of it. So as you're learning, decide which foot you're kicking with. The opposite one is going to turn. So it should be facing the opposite direction of the way you're kicking. That's a full pivot. So with Grace, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a number 2 round kick first, which means her front foot is going to turn before she kicks. Then she's gonna point her knee at her target. She's gonna go out, back, and down. Good. So I'm gonna call out the 5 basic concepts that we're working on. So first thing she's gonna do is pivot. Next thing she's gonna do is chamber. Kick, rechamber, and set down. Those are the 5 parts of the kick. So let's say she does it off of her front foot. So again, she's striking with the shoelace part of her foot. She's going to pivot her back foot. So now her back foot is actually facing those flags. She's gonna put her weight on that back foot, point her knee, good, and set down, good. So I'll call out the parts of the kick on this one. So pivot, chamber, kick, rechamber, and set down. The rechamber is the next most important part for balance. The faster it goes out and back, the quicker your balance comes back. A lot of people will kick and then fall out of their stance or part of their form because that's where their balance was going. That's where the physics of that kick is taking it. So that rechamber, that out and back, is what really makes a difference. So just one more time, if she's kicking off her back leg, she's gonna pre-pivot that front foot. She's gonna point her knee at her target. Good, there's a chamber, kick, rechamber, and set down. If she's kicking with her lead, she's gonna pivot her back foot, so it's facing the flags right now. She's gonna chamber, rechamber, good, and down. So we had the kick one more time, home. All right, so on this last one, if she pivots her back foot so she can kick off her lead, she's gonna chamber, kick, rechamber, and set down. Those are the 2 basic pivots and the rechambers for that kick. All right, side kick. This one is probably the most confusing one, but the name kind of tells you what it is. Same thing that we've been doing with our pivots. If you kick off the front leg, your other supporting leg, your rear leg, your pivot's gonna be facing this way. If she's kicking with the back foot, she's gonna turn her pivot, she's gonna pre-pivot so she can clear room for her side kick. Now where this kick kind of gets its name from is the chamber is gonna be off to the side and we're striking with the heel. So we're gonna go out and back, it's like a push. If it snaps, it's automatically a round kick because you're hitting with the wrong part of the foot. And as you get higher in belts, that becomes a really big problem, especially for board breaks and testing for forms. So just remember, when you do this, you really got to get that knee to the side and your heel should be pointed at the target. In fact, I should be able to see the bottom of your foot completely, unlike a round kick or a front kick. So let's do you want to do number 2 first? All right, so we're gonna do number 2 first. She's gonna pre-pivot her front foot. She's gonna turn it out. She's gonna pick up and her knee's gonna go all the way to the side. There's her chamber. She's gonna extend out, back, still to the side, and then set back down. If you notice in the video, you saw the bottom of her foot. If you do not, that means your chamber is probably more like a round kick, and that's incorrect. And going to try and break a board like that, you're gonna get a big surprise. But this is the easiest kick if you do break a board. So one more time, she's gonna pre-pivot her front foot. She's gonna lift up her rear foot. You can see the bottom of her foot right here like this. Good, she's gonna extend out, good, back and down. So those are the 5 parts, right? We had our pivot, we had our chamber, we had our kick, that re-chamber so we get our balance back, and we set down. So what about if she does the front leg? She's gonna pivot her back foot, so now it's facing the flags. She's gonna bring her knee to the side. She's gonna extend out for the kick. She's gonna re-chamber and set down. Perfect. So one more time, she pre-pivots just to get used to the idea of it. Eventually you won't have to do that, but to start with, a good habit. Chamber, kick, re-chamber, and set down. And if you notice, she has great guard the whole time she's doing it. So great kick. All right, those are the 3 basic kicks. Front kick, round kick, side kick, front kick and round kick, top part of the foot, right? It used to be the ball of the foot, but we wear shoes a lot, so that's really hard to do. Side kick, bottom of the foot. We're using the heel to make contact with. So those are the basics. And then front, I should say number 1 is off the front leg. Number 2 is off the rear leg, no matter what kick it is. And number 3, all I'm doing is stepping up and kicking with the front leg. Those are the 3 basic ways that we call out a kick. So, and whether on number 2 you set down in front or back just depends on either the form or the drill or what have you. All right, that's all the 3 kicks we want you to work on. Details, details, details. Proper chamber, out and back really quick so you get your balance back. And then setting down the kick with purpose. Don't fall out of your kicks because you might fall into somebody else's. All right, that's it.